Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today we're going to be looking at this right here, and this is from Mamoritai, Mamoritai. It is Mamoritai, and the name of this amplifier is the Euphony. This is a class-leading amplifier. It is very heavy. It's like 5 point something grams. Let me go over the specs. I just had the photo, now I lost it. Every time I try to do this, I get interrupted. So here's the specs on my phone. I took a picture of the manual. The manual's back of the box. It's a huge box. It's like probably 3 times the size of the unit. And the unit's big enough as it is. It weighs 5.2 kilograms. It honestly feels like it's 6, but dimensions 310 by 236 by 80 millimeters. So it is very long in the back. It's wide enough. It's wider than the Burson. It's probably longer than the... It's not taller, but it's probably longer than the EF 500 that I have, that I love. As you see, you can choose the power output is 110 or 230, depending on the region you live in. The headphone output, and we'll get into that in just a minute, is 2000 milliwatts. That's 2 watts times 32 ohms. 200 milliwatts at 300 ohms. I don't have any 600. I do have a 400, which is a vintage AKG 240 from a long time ago that I tested on this, and it did really good with the 400. It did really good with the planners like the Ananda. It did good with my 250 ohms that I have. And what else was it? The Yamaha. No, I don't have the Yamaha anymore. I always say Yamaha, the FIO FT3, which was good. It did well with that as well. The focals, I'm trying to think what I threw at this. T50 RPs I love because they love power. But anyway, so that's the power outage on it. As you can see, it has dual 6.35 headphone jacks that you can use simultaneously. Even if you're using, like I had, see, I don't have 2 of the same headphones. But I did have the Ananda in this one, and I had the HE X4. I think it is the X4 on that side. And it did really, really good. I also did the focal, which is dynamic, a little different. You can see the different noise. SNR 107, crosstalk 95 decibels. So let's get into, put that down, and we'll get into this thing. This thing is heavy. It feels a lot heavier. You have these big legs on the bottom. There's no vents on this whatsoever. And I'll flip it around and you can see the I/O in a minute. But like I said, you have these dual things here. So they're both 6.35s. So I use an adapter. I got my little DD Hi-Fi adapter right here. And this is roughly, on the web, when I first got this, and I was starting to test it, it was at $19.99, and it's dropped down to $15.99 right now, so it's a little cheaper. It's not the most expensive I've had. I think the Diablo was more than that when I first got it. But nice smooth knob action here. It's not stepped. It doesn't turn the volume, the power on, which I would have liked. Instead, the power's in the back. You get this, which it goes all the way down. I'm not going to unplug it because it's a pain to get under the desk. But you get this giant freaking braided snake-looking plug that comes with it. Unfortunately, it does not come with RCAs. It doesn't come with the adapters, which I think for the price they could have at least included, a decent set of each one of those. It does come with the plug and the unit and an extra badge, a silver badge, just in case you want to change it and if you don't like the gold. I don't see why anybody would really care, to be honest. Maybe you want the all silver aesthetic, but you're going to have to unscrew all those little screws in the bottom to do that, and that would be a real pain in the butt. because this thing is not light at all. As you can see, you have the screws down there. No venting, just the feet. You'll notice there's no venting on the side as well. Instead, what it has is this fluting, very thick fluting. This is really thick fingerprint magnet metal. Unfortunately, you're going to have to clean a lot. But it does come with this plastic on the top. I would suggest keeping it there because it blocks fingerprints. As this one was at the Can Jam, I think. They put that on there so people wouldn't get their fingerprints all over it. The sides and everything, it ends right here, and then the sides, it's just a fingerprint magnet. This doesn't show up fingerprints as much. But anyway, this is a passive type of radiator or an active radiator. The heat dissipates from both sides. You can put it on its side. It doesn't get hot at all. Whatever this does, it does a good job. It's supposed to dampen vibrations too. I didn't notice any vibration noises, even on the side, so it didn't really bother me. But it does a good job. You can run this full out, two planar headphones, high ohm headphones, and no problem whatsoever. I didn't have any heat problem. So you get these RCA. These are the inputs. You get RCA outputs. You get a voltage selector. You get the power on and off button. And you get where the plug goes. And that's it. And as you can see, the bottom, the sides, the top, and the front, solid. There's no vents on this whatsoever. It's just a solid, heavy block of metal. So, oh my God. I do not have room on my desk for something like this. Not at all. So, okay. Before we get into the sound, what do I like about this? The sound I like about this. I like the fact that it's built like a bloody tank. And I say that a lot with like IAMs and stuff. No, this is built like a tank. This is probably the best built amplifier I have ever had on my desk. And I have had $4,000 ones over here. I personally used the expensive ones. I don't review a lot of the stuff sometimes when it's really high end, but I was asked to review this, so I will. I prefer to give you like budget stuff that you can afford. This is like super audiophile, high end, snobby opulence, I don't really like that, but I do like that this sounds really, really, really good. And we'll get into my review on that in a second. Okay, so we're on my HeadFi page now. And I did use this with IAMs, I'd like to also say. I've tried a whole bunch of IAMs, the West Tone, which is all BEA. That is actually as much as this amplifier is. Those are about $1,500. Well, they're cheaper now, but when I bought them, they were about $1,500. We use the Dark Saber from Moondrop, which we're going to be doing a review shortly. That's about $700 or something. So I used a lot of good ones, and then we also used like KZ and all the budget ones that I review, because the budget ones are great. They have a good value, and you get a lot of bang for the dollar out of those. What I like, it looks really, really good. I mean, it's either going to be hit or miss. It's either going to be too fancy for some people, too shiny, too fingerprint magnety. If you have like OCD and fingerprints bother you, you don't get this, because this is going to drive you up a wall. It's built like a Mack truck, all chrome, all solid, no vents. Besides these openings, I don't think there's anything you got to worry about with dust. Maybe, cover up the knob if you're going to store it for a while. What I don't like is there's no balanced output. You get 2 6.35s, that's it. You can use them at the same time, which is kind of cool. You can use it for like some work, and we want to doing a track and you want somebody else to be listening at the same time, they can easily do that. I like the amount of power this puts out. Obviously 2 watts is really, really good. You can power just about anything, and yet it can take a $20 pair of KZs or the ND Venus, which is like $10, $12, and it handles them perfectly. There's no vibration, there's no buzzing or any hissing or anything. It did a really, really good job with, very sensitive IMs, so that's excellent. I don't like the fact that it didn't come with an RCA. It didn't even come with the adapters for that. It should have had 2 of these. I mean, they're cheap enough. I can't really complain myself because I really like using the DD Hi-Fi ones because they're really, really good. So let's get into the sound. I tried to do this. I mean, this is like a big item, and I tried to do this a bunch of times, like a 5-minute video, and I just can't seem to do it. I'm going to clear my throat. Okay. I'm not going to go over the package. Nobody cares about the package. It's a big box. Just know if you're getting this in, it's a huge box. It's like really, really big. So sound-wise, very pleasing signature on this. It is super neutral. There's like almost to the, and this will change depending on your DAC. I mean, because you're going to have to plug a DAC in, obviously. Another con, I would say, is for the cost of this and the size of this thing, I would have liked it to be an all-in-one unit. I personally, if I'm going to have something on my desk, I want it to be all-in-one. I don't want to have to run cables from one thing to the next thing or whatever. I don't like that. I just like a nice all-in-one unit. It's more efficient, I guess you could say. But anyway, so depending on the DAC, it'll change the signature a little bit. Most DACs should be neutral. So I used the neutral DAC, and coming into this, just sounded very, very neutral. There's no warmth coming out of this. I wouldn't say it's cold, but it definitely isn't warm either. This is very colorless performance. I think that it has both a smooth and kind of sophisticated tonal quality to it. There's a pronounced emphasis on spatial detail with a nice expansive presentation. Neutral, no coloration, yet there's good dynamic response, there's full range vocals, airy treble response, and I guess I would describe it as a exceptionally precise, smooth, linear volume curve amplifier with great detail and a gentle response and ample headroom. If I could just describe it in a few words. My total thoughts on this, finishing up because it's getting into 12 minutes. The term euphony is defined as the quality of being pleasing to the ear. I think a lot of people will like this. No, it's not like the Burson. It's not a warm, kind of rich sounding. It is just naturally, everything sounds the way it's supposed to sound. There is no coloration to it and everything. I think this is a true kind of audiophile-ish, person that wants all the details and they want to do critical listening. This is for you. Pull out your Dan Clark's, and which I had before, but I don't have now. I really would have liked to hear these on these. Pull out your good headphones, those expensive headphones. I think if you're an IEM user, this is a little overkill for you. Really, 2 watts, really don't need that. But it's good. And Fosse makes a good product, but they usually make a good budget product. This is a good upscale product. I think anyone with a very expensive setup that needs an amplifier to fit in there, this would be a perfect match for that. That's all I'm going to say about it. It's a good amplifier, like I said, neutral and very good spatial detail presentation with some smoothness in there. It's not overly harsh edges or anything else like that, but it is highly natural sounding. Thank you so much for watching, and I will leave a link down below for this.